Hi everybody, Jo here again. Thank you for joining me today. It's lovely that we can have another little crafty catch up. Always lovely to spend some time with you. Now today we're going to just create a nice little background using our PanPastels, and I've done this because I've had quite a few emails and messages of crafters saying that they've bought the PanPastels but they feel they don't use them enough. So I thought today it would be a great time to just share a lovely, quick, easy technique with you and hopefully answer a few of your questions along the way. And I'm also going on our theme that is the magical meadow. So we've got a lovely fairy magical poppy meadow. And today I'm going to show you this card design, obviously in my favourite colour tones. But just so you know, I don't just do oranges. I thought I'd have another one prepared to show you where I've actually used different coloured PanPastels. So I've used my yellow in the middle, but I've also used a blue and a purple. Now there will be a bit of a sheen on the card that you can see, and that's because when I've finished, I've fixed my PanPastel. Now that's the question we get asked more and more. There is one school of thought that you can use a cheap hairspray to fix your PanPastels, and again, it's like the saying says, horses for courses. If you find that works for you, by all means you use that. For me, I like to use a spray fixative, and there are lots of them around. I have a couple from Crafter's Companion, a spray and shine, and also the one I've used today is a spray and sparkle. And this one is Pearl Diamond. And I've got to be honest, for me, for my magical fairy-ness, it just adds that lovely sparkle. And as I say, these are perfectly fixed now. But it probably doesn't look very good on the camera because it will pick up, unfortunately, and it a bit of sparkle. So without further ado, what we'll do is we'll start, and I'm going to use a piece of, and again I've gone for Multi Fairies card, and this is a 5x5 piece. So that's 5 inches by 5 inches. And I'm going to use the PanPastels, and the colours that I've gone for is the Dairy Light Yellow, and then this one's Permanent Red shade, and this one, just for a little bit of depth around the edge, is Burnt Sienna. So I'm just going to take the lids off, and I'm just going to use my applicators, and again try to not rub your pastel because obviously they are pastel, they are a powder, so it's best to just glide. Look, just that's all you need. And what we're going to do is we're just going to add some yellow into the middle, just nice circular motion on the card, just to blend that first bit of the yellow. And then I'm going to look for which one of these is my red. I have a little area for each, really. I mean, you could have a sponge for each colour, but I just have an area. Now, whether that's red or brown, I'm not sure, but you know what? We'll go for it with the red. And again, I'm just going to swipe across, and then I'm just going to come in and blend. Now, don't be frightened of this. Just going to get my kitchen towel. Because they are a powder, obviously you are going to get powder on your mat, but the thing is, as I say, just not to be frightened of it. So now I've got that roughly on, what I'm going to do is just go round in almost a circular motion. Now I'm trying to be mindful to hold my card with my kitchen towel, because if I put my fingers on, I will get a mark. And I'm going to come back with my yellow, a little bit like we do when we're blending our inks, and I'm just going to blend that round here. And obviously the red and the yellow will create that lovely orange, that sort of orange glow, which is what I'm after. And again, it moves, you need to hold on to it. And then what I'm going to come in with now is my brown, and I'm just going to add some brown at the base here. I want it a bit deeper down here. Now it doesn't look much deeper, but I know that the brown's there. And then back in with my yellow. I'm going to just move it round, hold the brown there, and go right across with my yellow just to blend in this top to give me this nice. And the beauty with this is, depending on your blending, you'll never get exactly the same design twice. But as you can see, this card, it blends really well. And the pastels are very smooth. You just have to almost give it a bit of leg work, or elbow work, I should say. And then I'm happy with that. I've got that nice glow, which is what I wanted, and a deeper, that will just ground my, but it's quite, when you've blended it, look, it is quite a smooth. I haven't got any little bits of powder, which is one thing that a lot of people were asking. Bits of powder on here, but I've blended that so well. And again, if you're worried, just right across the whole thing, give it a good blend. And that will help seal it to start off with. And I'm just going to put those over there and just wipe this up. And again, for me, just wipe my hands before I do my stamping, and then I've got less chance of getting marks everywhere. I don't want, the fact that they are a powder, I don't want it to put any of you off, because like I say, you just get a little bit of residue on your mat and just wipe it up. It really isn't a problem. So what we'll do now is come in with our stamping, and I need a clean piece of paper on top. And what I'm going to do first is, if I show you the original one, we just want these poppies in the distance to start off with. So I'm coming in with this lovely colour, and this is the summertime. Now, if you're interested, for the other one, where I had the blues and the greens, I used Verdant. And this, you don't need to use second generation, because you've almost got that paler colour, and it just gives a nice bit of depth. And so I'm going to come in with my garden poppy. And I've just thrown one of my stamps on the floor. So if you bear with me, I'll just pick that up. These things happen, don't they? Well, they certainly happened to me. And again, because this is such a lovely colour, I'm mindful I don't need to do second generation. I'm almost going tone on tone. I have to say, I do fancy doing a card. Actually, I just wonder what it would look like totally tone on tone. Do you ever do that halfway through, going sort of one route with a design? Does your head, or is that just me? I go off on tangents thinking, oh, what if? What would that look like? Must admit, I do love this colour. Yes, I think I might have to just create a card tone on tone, but I think that's lovely. I'm just going to give my stamp a wipe with my wet cloth and then dry it with my Inky Binky. And I'm going to come in next with, where's it gone, my gorgeous dandelion. And I'm going to do that in the orange again, just to give me a little bit more interest in the background. And I'm just going to put a couple, maybe one there, sort of overlapping them a little bit, because again, this is a magical meadow. And in meadows, we have lots of flowers, don't we? A nice wildflower meadow, this one is. But I don't want to overcook it. So I think that's looking nice for my distance. And again, I'm just going to clean my stamp and dry it with my Inky Binky. And then lastly, for this colour, I'm going to come in with the field grass. And I'm not doing many of these, just a few in the foreground. And we'll just have a couple. Again, you know what the grasses are like. They do grow in amongst all your other flowers, don't they? So I'm just doing a couple of first and second generation with that, just to give that meadow, that nice magical meadow type look. And again, cleaning and drying my stamp each time. So that's all my stamping. I'm just going to turn it over, give it a bit of a blot in that lovely summertime colour. So pop the lid on and put that over there. And we're going to come in with our black ink now. And I'll go back to my garden poppies. And that's why it was important that I cleaned them. I know I'm going to a darker colour, but really I didn't want to contaminate my ink pads. Now this is going to look lovely and strong and really bold. And I need to be mindful where I want my fairies. So I'm wanting a fairy pretty much, not exactly in the middle, but sort of in the middle. So if we put one, we can overlap these. I don't want it dead centre, but sort of there, just off centre. And then let's have another one here and just angle this one slightly. Now again, remember you're stamping on top of ink, on top of PanPastel. And let's have one more here, just coming in, I think at that angle. Because they do grow at all sorts of angles, don't they? I've got some nice space there for our silhouette foliage. So let's have another one here at this angle. And then one just down there, and then one just popping its head just slightly in shot. It's going to turn it around slightly here. It's always nice to have stamping off the page, and it just gives that nice balance. But as you can see, we've got space here. So just let me give my stamper a wipe and a dry. And we're going to come in with our field grass now. Lovely light field grass. Now I'm thinking one there, and this really grounds it, but just adds to that wispy. I don't want too many. And again, remember to alter the height, alter the, I'm just going to turn it round so I can keep an eye, just check you can see. So now I'm going to have to turn it that way, and I know I want one there. Yes, definitely need one over here. Now again, if you've got the orchard grass, you could mix some of that in. Just need a little bit more, just poking in. There's that gap there. Now I don't need a lot, look, don't need to overcook it, but that just complements that. And now we've got a couple of little spaces, and again, like I say, we don't want to overcook it. We don't want a meadow pizza, do we? So we're just going to come in with one of the little silhouette foliage, and I just think a little bit of this. Probably won't stamp the whole stamp, just some little, I'm thinking there. Sorry, excuse me. Wouldn't be me if I didn't have a little cough, would I? There we go. And I love this because it's more of a silhouette. It's not as fine as the field grass. It complements the field grass really well. And I think it gives that meadow feel that you have. Don't you just want to sit in this meadow and look up at the sky? I think just one more there. Now it needs another one there, and then we're done. Just in that there. Yes. I like that composition. So just a quick clean of that. And what we're going to do now is bring, I've got these gorgeous 4 little fairies, and these are the fairy foragers. And again, if you're not sure where you want to stamp them, because after all this is a magical meadow, so I need some magic, so I need my fairies. If you're not sure where you're going to stamp them, again, use your acetate. I know we always say it, but it is so useful. So I know she's going to go there. So we'll stamp her first. And again, we're going to use the black. I'll just check I've got her. And then I may just need to bring my head over, so I'm really sorry, but I just want to check. So I'm sorry if you see the top of my head, but I just wanted to check that I literally plant her on top of the poppy so that she looks like she is sat on the poppy and not hovering. I know she's a fairy and I know she's magic and she can, but I don't really want her hovering. No, that's lovely. So she's happily sat there. Now let's have a look. Are we going to have, yes, she'll go on there nicely. So which one are you? That one? I do talk to the fairies. Now, how many of us are going to answer and admit we do that? I've got a bit of ink just on the edge of my block there. So we're going to have this one. She's just dancing over here. And again, we're stamping directly onto that pan pastel. So again, it's a silhouette. Give the ink time to soak in. So she's happy on there. And we've got one more. Now, I need to just check with this one. If she, oh, look at that. She can stand on there and it looks like she's trying to reach this poppy. But again, I needed to do that just to double check that I'd got those. It's where your acetate really is so useful. So again, we know that she'll stand on there and just reach for that poppy there. And again, give her a good, let that ink soak in. There we go. Perfect. Now, I'm just going to, just with my heat tool, give that a little bit of a dry, just to help. Again, with it being VersaFine clay, it's a slower drying ink. And with it being on top of the pan pastel, so I'm just going to whiz my heat tool from the front and from the back. And it'll just help, just because I don't want to smudge it. How many times have we done that? I know I certainly have. And then I'm just going to add my black Sharpie line. But what I will do is I'm going to mat this on a piece of orange card. And remember, you can put your line on there as well. So while give that an extra couple of minutes just to dry, I'll actually come in and add the line on my backing card as well. Now, obviously, I could use black card and add a couple of extra mats and layers. But for me, I'd just rather do this. And again, I'm being mindful to press down on the black card, and remember to have your copy of paper underneath. Don't do it straight on your best dining table, will you? So now we can come in and again make sure we hold this down, then we can just whiz and it'll just help to frame. And I think the black on the orange is so effective. And then one more. Pop my lid on. I'll just move that out of the way. So as I say, that is going to go on there and then on my white card. Couple of little finishing tricks. And what we want to do is we want to add some highlight detail. So I'm going to come in with my gold Signo for this, just to keep the sort of oranges, gold sort of theme. And what I'm going to do is just add my fairy wings. And also just on my poppies. Now you can use white if you want to add some white highlights. I just thought I'd keep it all sort of tone on tone. So that's why I've gone for the gold. And I'm just adding some just on my grass there. So I've got another poppy head there. And again, you will take your time with this. And I'm only adding the detail on the poppies that I've stamped in black. The ones with the paler colour, again, I'm just leaving those. Lovely little dots here. And we've got another poppy there. And just work your way around, having these lovely highlights. On the blue one, I actually used my silver Signo. I thought that went better with blue, but I thought the gold, if I can just move it a little, goes better with this. Now, if you wanted to add a little bit of gold to the fairies, a little bit more highlights. And then what we do want is some fairy orbs, just again to add to that mystic sort of magical feel. And I'm going to come in with, this is my white pearl medium. So it's a lovely shimmery pastel, and I've got a clean applicator with a, these are great because you've got different ends that will go in. And I'm going to come in with my white orb stencil. And what I'm going to do is just choose a couple of places, get some pastel. Right, let's just start over here. And I'm just going to use my stencil to give me some lovely circular orbs. And again, I don't want to overcook it. I don't want too many. And again, if you notice, I'm not rubbing on the pastel. I don't want to move too much. Literally, just one swipe look and you get enough. Now we've got some gorgeous little, where's the Diddy orbs? Maybe we could have a couple. That looks nice. The beauty of the white orb stencils, you've got lots of different sizes, look. And they're far enough away that you don't need to mask any off. I think we need another one up there, but I want one of those little Diddy tiny ones. Let's have a little bit. How are we looking? Oh, over here we need one, don't we? Let's have a look. What about that one there, just in front of the grass? And again, as I say, you will take your time. Now, there's two ways of finishing this off. You can leave the circles like that, hoping you can see them, or I just like to take my finger and just slightly fuzzy the edge a little. I think it just makes them look a bit more magical. And then I'm just going to give it a blow. I don't want to use my hand because if I go straight across. So I'm hoping if I can tilt that, can you just catch that? Now the last little thing you can do if you want to add a little bit of almost mist, you can just bring a little bit of your pastel and almost add that little bit of mist. And again, I'm just going to use my finger and just rub that across, just to give that sort of that morning mist type feel. And again, I've left this card without a sentiment purely because, should I wish, I can stamp my sentiment up here. And again, this will be one of those emergency cards which will be great for a birthday or get well or best wishes. And as I say, for me, I would give that a quick light spray. I tend to spray mine. I put it on a craft mat, a piece of copy paper, and actually take it to my back door and spray there, because you do need a well ventilated room. So, and literally 5 minutes to dry, and then that would be ready to go in the post. So I hope you've enjoyed that. If I bring in the finished one, so that's the finished one, move a few things out of the way. You know what I'm like, we end up with not much space. And there's different colour tone for you to have a look at. Probably not going to get all three on here, am I? If I move that light out of the way, does that help? Just get rid of that glare. So as I say, or is that too dark? See, I do need a lighting expert, don't I? So I hope you've enjoyed that today. I'll pop that one on top of there, look. So thank you very much for popping in. And any questions, you know, just ask us. We're more than happy to help. Now, this one I've left without Posca splats. That's the only other thing to tell you. This one, I added the white Posca splats. But again, I know not everybody likes the Posca splats. So again, that's up to you. I hope you have a go. I hope you use your PanPastels. As I say, if you've bought them, really, we need to use the products that we've already bought, don't we? Thank you for joining me. You take care, everybody. Love and hugs. Bye for now.